Today we're going to learn how to make the Wintery Gnomes for our first take and make kit. So in your kit you're going to have enough to make 3 different gnomes. I already have 2 here completed. For each one you're going to need 1 styrofoam cone, 1 strip of the plaid fabric, and then 1 of the sheets of felt provided. So this is super easy. It is going to be easiest to use a hot glue gun for, so if you have one of those at home, that is definitely the quickest method to use. So all you're going to do is take your plaid felt, wrap it around the bottom part so that a little bit of it folds over just like this. And you're going to hot glue it into place. Now feel free to trim up some of the edges if that's easier for you, or you can just fold it all in. And don't worry about the evenness up here because the hat's going to cover that quite a bit. Now you'll want to leave a little extra. I didn't leave quite enough on the bottom here to fold this down over, so I'm going to have to pull it a little bit, just because it helps make the front look a bit more seamless. I'm going to trim this little excess bit off here. And again, just add a little bit more to make sure everything is nicely glued down here. Just warning to the wise, I'm using a low temp glue gun, so it doesn't hurt when I touch it. But be very careful if you're using a hot glue gun temp. Alright, now I'm going to finish this off. I've used a a circle. I've cut out a little circle from some of my leftover felt from one of these guys. And I'm just going to do it onto the bottom here just to kind of give it a little bit more of a finished product look and to make it a little bit more stable. All right, here we go. All right, so we have the bottom half of our little gnome ready. So I'm just gonna put him aside for a moment, clear out your space. I'm gonna take one of the felt squares that you've received, whichever one you want. I prefer to, I did a few of these, so I've learned that making a rounded triangle here is really helpful. So I kind of made the same size for all of them, just kind of based on what I wanted. I found that this was easier to kind of shape, and then I can trim it down after I've put it on. So what I'm going to do again is with the hot glue gun, I'm gonna put just a little bit up here in this top corner so that way I can get this roll started. This is the trickiest part because you kind of have to get in there to roll it in. Again, low glue gun temp, so this does not hurt me at all. Do be very careful if you're using something else. Fabric glue also works fine with this project. It just takes a little longer to dry. And I am not known for my patience. Then I'm going to go ahead and continue to glue this edge down here to help make it into a nice little hat. All right, so there we go. Now you'll notice that it's a little uneven on the bottom. It's completely fine. One of the great things about this, and I made much too big ones for all of them so that I could figure out how much I wanted, and then I can just trim off the excess. So I'm going to make sure that the seam from my plaid fabric is in the back, and that the seam from this hat is also going to be facing the back. Alright, so now that that's ready, I'm going to set that aside for a moment, and we're going to work on the beard. So in the kit, you'll be given a strip of this lovely beard fabric. It's really easy to cut, but when you are cutting it, I recommend kind of flicking up the hair so that way when you cut, you're not cutting all the longer hairs from above. So that way they'll all be a little bit longer. You can see, this is the first one I made. I did a straight across cut, so there's not as many longer pieces hanging down because I trimmed them by mistake. So you can, on the back, kind of sketch out, you know, the shape of the beard, maybe how long you want it. I'm gonna sketch out a little shape here. Give him a longer beard because he's the again, I'm just going to kind of brush this up so that way when I cut it, I'm only cutting off the lower pieces and not cutting the longer strands off from the upper part here. Okay. Just going to right along my little outline here. Now I will tell you, there will be lots of little white pieces of fluff and fur, so do be prepared for that. And don't worry how accurate this is, you can always trim it up. I have pick out some of the excess here. Do like that. I may trim him up after I have glued him on down here. I'm going to go ahead and give him a nice glue here. Just a little bit at the top. Should be fine. And then we're just going to stick him right up here. Alright. So we're going to try the hat back on him again. Alright, yeah, so it should be very good. Alright, so now I'm going to put some glue on the cone here. Just a little, again, it doesn't take a whole lot to hold this in place. And then we're going to put her hat on, again making sure that the seam is in the back. Alright, we've got our hat on there, and now comes just the finishing touches. So you're going to have these little felt balls in your kit. They're pretty rounded, but for a nose you can just kind of squish it a little to kind of give it more of a rectangular shape that looks a little bit more nose-like in my opinion, or you can leave them round however you like. There's no right or wrong way to do these. And again, just a quick little dab of glue here. And you're just going to stick it right kind of where the hat meets the beard. Just kind of hold it on there, make sure it gets nice and dry, it sets. And then the very last thing, the jingly bell. I love these little jingly bells. I think it just really sets it off. So I like to kind of fold mine down a little bit. So I'm going to put some hot glue on the bell. And just kind of attach it to the tip here. Just let it attach to the tip and hold on to it for just a second to make sure it stays. Alright. And then as you see on my others here, I have them kind of flipped over. Again, it's just a little bit of hot glue just right up here. Just kind of hold that fabric bit down. And again, just hold on to it for a couple moments to let that glue really hold on and set. Or in the case of this guy, who I didn't let set very long, I just stuck a little pin in him to hold him down a little better. So if you have any straight pins at home, that'll work just as well. All right. And with that, I give you my little wintry gnome set. Super easy. Just work with it. It's super fun to do. Kind of trial and error, and you have a little bit of fabric to kind of mess with. So I hope you enjoy.